fired as a Fox News talking head. Not fired per se, but they stopped putting me on air back in 2002 because I went on air and said that the United States then was contemplating going into Iraq. And I said we couldn't fight a two-front war. We're already involved with Afghanistan. We're going to go into Iraq. Well, look how small those conflicts are compared to fighting China and fighting Russia. Are you kidding me? The U.S. Army's, we've talked about this before, under less than 500,000 men in active duty strength. The Navy ships, they're vulnerable to hypersonic missiles, which the Chinese have. So how exactly are we going to, quote, fight Chinese? Oh, I know. We'll use our F-35s. Yeah, they just, a new one was being sent out to California the other day, took off from Albuquerque Air Force Base, blew up, crashed on takeoff. Hey, that's only $110 million down the toilet right there. This is crazy talk, but it's also, it ignores what the United States has previously promised China. 1979, during the presidency of Jimmy Carter, I think the United States signed a declaration with the Chinese affirming that we would not supply weapons to Taiwan. That's what we said. That was our promise. Now you know what to make of U.S. promises. They're worthless. The U.S. agreed with the Chinese after the visit of Richard Nixon in 1972 that we believed, we accepted the one China policy, that Taiwan is part of China. Now we're trying to claim that it's not and that we're going to fight the China. We don't have the ability to fight the Chinese. We don't have the industrial base to fight the Chinese. We don't have the manpower to fight the Chinese. We don't have the Navy to fight the Chinese. I mean, we are seriously deluded. We keep looking in the mirror and, say, oh, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? I am, I'm fabulous, that kind of thing. And we're not. It's just, yeah, we've got a lot of expensive gear, and yeah, our troops can look really cool and some ninja gear. But if it comes down to an actual, fight where people are dying, and you're going to lose ships, you're going to lose planes, do you have the ability to replace those? No. The United States does not have the ability to replace what it loses. It takes what, 5 years, 6 years to build an aircraft carrier? Hell, during World War II, they were building those things like in every 3 months. 3 to 6 months, you could turn out an aircraft carrier during World War II. Now, that's more than 4 years, I think. So this kind of madness by politicians like McCall, just crazy talk. But it does have, what it does do is the Russians hear it, the Chinese hear it, and they go, those Americans are crazy. So let's get ready to fight them. We're going to get ready to fight them. And the difference between them and the United States is they have the industrial capability to replace what they lose. We don't. I mean, it looks like the current guy that they put in there, he's got a little bit of the Zelensky trait to him. He's talking tough and looking to provoke China. So good luck with that. It didn't work out for Zelensky. It's not going to work out for him. The West keeps hoping that China is going to launch a military strike on Taiwan. I don't think they will. They don't need to. All they have to do is wait. They can blockade Taiwan and, compel its surrender if they want. But I think they're also sort of waiting to see what's going to happen politically in the United States. If they got to deal with Biden for another 4 years, I don't see how he survives 4 years, but that's another point. Then they recognize that there's definitely going to be conflict. With Trump, I think they recognize there's a potential to negotiate, to work out a deal, even though Trump was saying, hey, if China invaded Taiwan, I'd bomb Beijing. Oh, please. That's stupid too. God, why can't we get somebody with a measure of who's an adult and who's intelligent? Wealthy conservatives who, believe that all we got to do is drop a few bombs and, will Taiwan and Russia, they'll come around. I mean, the only reason they're doing that is because we haven't been tough enough. I've got several friends, dear friends who were veterans of Vietnam. They fought in Vietnam. And I can't talk to them about this because they don't want to hear it. Because in their view, we just didn't get the support of Congress. That's why we lost. No, no, no. The Vietnamese were actually better equipped and more committed to winning than we were. And I'm not sure, we killed so many Vietnamese, and to achieve what? We were really trying to protect the colonial interests of France when that whole thing started, because Vietnam was a French colony. And that was why there were so many great French restaurants in Saigon back in the day, now Ho Chi Minh City. So this notion that the Americans have that, oh, we could have done X, Y, and Z if only we would have put in enough troops, if only we would have blown up more stuff, if only. It's the if only excuse. And, no, there's actual, let's step back and look at it objectively. We do not have the ability to engage in a modern war and sustain it in terms of the logistics to keep it supplied to continue to operate. We're going to run short. And we just got to come to grips with that and stop taking, going to war as our first option. That's the thing that's so disturbing now about America. It's either sanctions or war. So much for negotiations. And we're going to use the Philippines as a proxy, just like we used Ukraine as a proxy to try to provoke China, and then let the Filipinos die, and as we try to attack and weaken China, using the Filipinos as a wedge. That's it. That's what's going on. Same playbook. People keep talking about China wanting to crush this, China wanting to crush that. They're going to invade. Show me the history of China as an invading imperial force. And I'm not talking the last 200 years. I'm talking the last 1,000 years. China has not been loading up in boats and selling to Africa and buying slaves from African slave traders and then bringing them back. China has not been going around setting up colonial outposts in South America, Central America. Yes. But, we keep projecting China as this raving imperial power that's bent on conquering the world. I think it's just the United States engaged in psychological projection. We're the only ones keen on conquering the world and being in charge. As long as the Chinese are stupid enough to lend us money, okay, because that's what's going on. Whenever they buy U.S. Treasury bills, they're lending the United States money. I need another $1,000, man. Can I have $1,000? And you keep giving it to me, and then I keep abusing you. I keep threatening, hey, I'm going to come over, I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to take your house. Hey, give me another $1,000. At some point you're going, whoa, I don't like this relationship. Yeah, I lend you money, and you're in theory you're paying me back with some interest, but maybe it's not worth the trouble. And see, that's one of the things that's happening now with BRICS. The rise of the Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, or community, where you're adding other countries like Iran, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, Thailand just indicated, hey, we want to be a part. So you're going to spread to the global south and create an alternative mechanism for funding international trade. Well, part of the power of the United States is that we've been able to convince the rest of the world, hey, you got to trade in dollars. If you don't trade in dollars, you can't trade. And while you're at it, buy some more of our treasury bonds, buy these bonds, lend us some more money so we can keep spending. And we got some inflation, but we don't ever, you guys are the ones holding the bonds. You're the ones if we go bankrupt, you lose. And that's why I think you've seen China, they haven't completely bailed out of the bond market, but they're certainly stocking up on gold like it's, there's no tomorrow. I think that's telling. And so it's, up to this point, the United States, because the dollar is the international reserve currency, it's the currency people need to use to buy oil and other goods in international commerce. As long as that system stays in place, the United States does have some power. Most of the people in the West haven't caught on to that yet. A few of the policymakers are starting to recognize it and go, whoa, wait a second. You don't need our dollars anymore. So, and that's where, China and Russia both recognize that, this, it's not just a matter of beating the United States on the battlefield. It's a matter also of beating them in the banks. And that's one of the reasons you've seen the West, both the United States and the Europeans, on the one hand, you keep talking, we need to take that $300 billion of Russian assets that we've frozen, and we need to take that and give it to the Ukrainians. What's given them pause, what's preventing that from happening, is the adults that actually understand finance say, well, if you do that, then everybody who's thought that the US dollar was a safe currency to hold, we don't have to worry about our money being taken. All of a sudden now I'm going to say our money's no longer safe. That if we have anything in any kind of bank associated with the United States, they can just steal our money. You're not going to put your money someplace where somebody can steal it. And so all of a sudden at that point, people will start drawing large sums of money out. They'll go buy gold to put it into foreign bank accounts. And it'd be essentially like a run on the US dollar. So that's one of the things I think that prevented the West, despite all their tough talk. Oh yeah, we're gonna just take that money. Grow up, understand what you're saying, because it's going to backfire on you.